Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Rooster Stone Show.
Stone Show.
Dude, you got some serious go on that one.
Thank you.
I mean, that one was, you'd have made a 50s singer, like, proud on that.
It's like I had an extra time to practice it.
I feel like we should do like a doo-wop group. And you could be the guy, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, hey, man, we're gonna digress really far here. We have a great show for you today, man. In tribute to Ace Frehley, we are doing a retro album review of Destroyer by Kiss. And I'm so excited to do this one. And, you know, this is going to be a great show. Rob, I know you are absolutely like foundationally affected by this band and this album. So, you know, tell us a little bit about how you got there.
Very cool. Well, I was very excited when you asked me to do this one. I didn't know if it made the Mo cut. So
everything makes the Mo cut.
That's what I love about Mo. So Kiss did change my life. I wouldn't be playing guitar without Ace Frehley. It's always been one of my favorite Kiss albums. It was released a week before my third birthday, but I didn't know the album. I was 3. But it followed up. This was the follow-up to their Kiss Alive album, which really saved them from being dropped by their label. After Destroyer came Love Gun and Kiss Alive 2, which I believe came out in 1978. That was my first Kiss album, and that's really what got me into them. And also their made-for-TV movie, Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park. Kiss was not a fan of this movie whatsoever, and they basically shelved it after the one airing and didn't release it until 2 decades later.
Wow.
Fortunately for me, my dad recorded everything, and we had a copy of this movie on beta. So when I was growing up, I was able to watch The Wizard of Oz and Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park endlessly.
Both absolutely frightening, too.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of frightening, I had a friend in New Jersey, Ray, whose room was decorated in my head, it was mostly Gene Simmons posters, and I think that is where the problem laid. I wasn't afraid of the members of Kiss, just Gene Simmons, and I think he was more focused on him, and I was more focused on Ace. So I think I was afraid of going to his house and just being in his room with all the Gene Simmons posters.
But dude, Ace had the coolest makeup. I mean, because he had that silver.
Yep.
I mean, he did. He had the coolest. But undoubtedly, you know, I think Gene's still scary even without the makeup these days. Because he's such a larger-than-life personality.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you want to be entertained, just go watch his interviews. I mean, even if you don't agree with the things he's saying, he is a very entertaining individual.
Absolutely.
And such a unique upbringing. You know, but dude, that's awesome. You know, I love quipping with people who have real deep connections with the music that we're covering. You know, I just feels like it gives a depth to what we're doing that you wouldn't get otherwise. So, you know what? Let's just roll right into it, man. Okay. You know, I'll talk about my feelings about the band at the end. So the first song is Detroit Rock City. I actually get to be the first one today because I'm doing odds. I'm odd. But so Detroit Rock City, man. I mean, look, if you've never heard this song or this band before, or this album before, you've heard this song, right? You've heard this song on the radio or whatever. But I never heard the intro to this song and album before. It is a bit, you know, of news and like talking about violence and stuff in Detroit. I almost said New Jersey. You can hear engines revving and rock and roll all nights playing in the background. You know, I guess I only ever got to hear the radio cut before, but it's really a neat way to open up the album. Once the song comes in, though, man, it's that big riff. It's Gene playing that sweet fill between the strums. This song just has such a good guitar riff hook. I mean, talk about showcasing Ace Frehley. The way this song is mixed, though, and in particular the slight delay on Paul's voice and the background voices too, gives it a live feel. And, I feel like this band really knew who they were. They knew what their fans liked about them. They're this energetic live vehicle. But this song kicks tail, man. It's no surprise it's one of their most famous songs. And the car crash sounds at the end are a nice touch.
Yes. It's obviously a Kiss staple and the perfect album concert opener, I think. I've always loved teaching this song to my guitar students. There's some really cool counter melody stuff going on. The solo and the harmony parts of the solo were written by the producer, Bob Ezrin, who was a huge influence on this album and the albums that followed for the next couple of years. But yeah, it's a great tune. I love it.
It's a good one. So we're popping into your first song, King of the Nighttime World.
Yes, King of the Nighttime World. Can you hear the sustain? Nigel Tufnell would be proud. It's like a phoenix rising from the ashes.
Yeah.
And the guitar harmonies are strong with this one.
Guitar harmonies, I love it.
Yeah, it's a great one.
I love it.
This is probably one of my top 10 Kiss songs. I love the guitar break right before the solo. But as I'm finding the more and more through this podcast, a lot of my love for this song and other songs comes from the drums, the feel of the drums, and it's just got that marching snare that just drives the tune. I feel it's not as well known a Kiss song to casual fans or people that don't know Kiss, like Detroit Rock City, but real Kiss fans know and love this song.
Yeah, dude. Oh man, dude, Fraley's guitar solo on this track. Oh my god. This song is cock rock at its finest, people. I mean, it is a great song, and Stanley's killing it.
Yeah.
I mean, he really is. So this song leads into the third song, God of Thunder. This song starts so dirty with a child screaming and yelling in the background. The song is sung by Gene, so it just feels so much more evil. I remember when I was a kid, I was afraid of his character more than any of the others, kind of like you said. And I don't know if it was that tongue or the hair or the makeup. He just looks so much more wicked than the other guys do. The lyrics are, well, very Gene Simmonsy. If you know his personality, this is a really, it's not a stretch to hear him talking about himself as the God of Thunder. But the producer of this record, again, he does a really good job of capturing that live energy with this band. The whole thing sounds like a rock concert. It's awesome.
Yeah. This was actually written and originally sung by Paul Stanley. There is a demo that they released on the 45th anniversary edition of Destroyer. It's a whole different song.
Wow.
There's a disco drum beat.
Oh, man.
And Paul sings it, and there are these backups.
Oh, my.
Yeah, you have to check it out. It's
dude, I can't even imagine this song like that.
It's weird. But, going back to the Gene thing and with our ages being close, with Kiss Alive 2 coming out in 78 and being the first album I really remember having, the image of Gene on the front is right after God of Thunder and his bass solo. So he's sweating, his makeup's running, and there's just blood pouring from his mouth. So when you see that image as a 5 or 6 year old, it's frightening.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Especially, you have to give voice to the fact, too, that back then, we weren't saturated with media the way we are today. Young kids are so much more exposed nowadays to scary things that I think sometimes nothing is really that scary to them anymore. But, back when we were kids, television wasn't on all day. And, movies were something that rich kids did more often than the rest of us did. I would go see maybe 1 or 2 movies a year. And I wasn't seeing anything that looked anything like Gene Simmons in any of the movies I watched. So, I think some of it's that, too. We grew up in a totally different era. And we weren't exposed to these types of media the same way kids are today.
Yeah, no, funny. It's interesting you say that because I theoretically was my dad had a friend who owned a movie theater in Belmar, New Jersey.
Yeah,
and we could literally go
anytime you wanted,
as often and repeatedly.
Why couldn't we have been friends when I was a kid?
But I was also going to see Rocky Horror on Saturday and Friday nights when I was 6, 7 years old.
I feel like I got cheated.
I got
robbed. No pun intended. I got robbed. Yeah. All right. Great Expectations. Here we go. You and I could digress for a whole show. We should have just a show
I
called
often
Digress.
think we should just put the list aside and just talk.
There has to be order.
Well, okay. So this song is sung by Gene, and it's such a departure from what you expect of Gene and what we just heard in God of Thunder. It's this beautiful melodic song, but I think this song falls under the category of guilty pleasures as a Kiss fan. Mm-hmm. It's not widely accepted as a favorite amongst the community. And it wasn't until recently when I saw a picture of Kiss recording in the studio with no makeup on that it dawned on me that when they recorded these albums, they weren't going in their full makeup and going like, oh, here I go. They were just sitting around playing these tunes. So in my head, I always envisioned Gene in the studio with his makeup singing the song.
Funny.
But anyway, so
they're in like sweatpants and jeans.
Like these guys are superheroes. They got to put the costume on before they go to work. But
they do it. They certainly do in your brain. In your imagination, yeah.
But what got me into this song was in the early 2000s, they released a DVD and CD of them performing with the symphony in Melbourne, Australia. And they did this song with a full symphony and a choir behind them. And it's awesome.
That is awesome.
Yeah, I love the song.
You're so right, though. This song is very unexpected, particularly after the first 3 songs on the album. I mean, it's not just unexpected for Kiss. It's unexpected on the album. But it's a well-timed change. In my mind, it's a very well-timed change. I had never heard this song before. That hook is sweet. I mean, it is. It's sweet. So I have Flaming Youth as my next song. This song is an anthem to being young, which was, let's be honest, their target audience. The melody is awesome. This song feels more like the Kiss of the later years. It's more polished. It's less dark, though the solo part in the middle does bring back some of that dirty feeling. This is the kind of song that will get in your head and takes weeks to get out.
Yes.
It's urgent and thumping. I love the way it rocks out at the end to that lick. This is my favorite tune so far as I'm going through listening to these songs.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this might actually be a good time to mention that on this album, Bob Ezrin, the producer, brought in a guitar player from Alice Cooper Band to play guitar on some of these songs, to play the leads on. Flaming Youth, Sweet Pain were 2 of them. And Ace had recorded them. He feels it was Ezrin's way of punishing him for showing up late to sessions and showing up unprepared and possibly under the influence of the drink. So I'd be curious to hear what they sound like with his solos on them.
Yeah.
But he also didn't know about it until he heard the album released. He's like, hey,
well, look, from the producer's standpoint, it's a lot of money for studio time in the 1970s, and you got to come prepared. I mean, that's your job. It's literally your job. So I get it. You're out living the decadent rock and roll lifestyle. Yeah. I don't think this is an isolated incident, people.
No.
I think the more you look at rock and roll history and the more you hear some of those signature solos and come to find out it's not the guy in the band playing them. It's like the Wrecking Crew or something, it happens.
But I do, I think this song shows, if nothing else, they could write an anthem.
Absolutely. I love this song.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that takes us into Sweet Pain, which is another great song. it's quite possibly one of their most underrated songs. But it's a banger, and I think it really shows off Gene's vocal range. And I love the acoustic doubling the electric guitar riff, not just in the intro, but throughout the song. It just adds a really nice touch to it. So I think that takes us back to what you were saying. Just the production is a huge part of this album.
Yeah, and it almost always is. You know, I mean, you can have a really good album that's poorly produced, and I'm sure there's an episode for us right there. Great albums, poor production, but this song is definitely more bubblegum pop rock. Though again, the guitar solo is still dirty. I had initially put right on Ace, but you just told me it's not Ace. So, there it is, Sweet Pain.
I was trying to save you the Sweet Pain.
There you go. I found it out.
Yeah,
I trust me, my pain wasn't as great as Ace's was, I'm sure.
And this is also the first song on side 2. So this is back in the day. This is when they flipped the album over.
An interesting choice for the first song on side 2.
Yeah.
So next is Shout It Out Loud. All right. This is one of the band's most popular songs. I've heard this song tons on the radio and in movies and shows. In fact, I had a memory of it being on Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey or in the movie. But then when I looked it up, I couldn't find any mention of it there, which I thought it was weird. So I'm going to have to go back and watch that movie to see if I'm just is this the Mandela effect? Did I skip into an alternate universe where Shout It Out Loud isn't in this movie? Because I really, really thought it was. But hey, man, I'm old, and it's probably more likely that than it is some weird, cosmic crap that I'm trying to talk about now. But this song is singable. It's fun. And again, it feels more like the Kiss from the later years to me. You can just hear a whisper of what they will become. I absolutely love this song.
Yeah. Yeah, it's another one of my favorites, another concert staple. And spoiler alert, this is the song they play at the end of the Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park movie.
Yeah.
After they defeat the evil Kiss androids. So, but
I love the 70s, dude.
Dude, I just turned into a 6-year-old kid talking.
It's like Star Wars holiday special. That's how they look at it, but you love it. Yeah.
Yeah, but I love, actually, last night I had my guitar out and I was playing the solo to the song. And it's one of my favorites to
Such
play.
a great tune. Yeah. Dude, I feel like this song is like a foreshadow of not only who Kiss will become, but this song is a foreshadow to hair band music. I mean, if you released this song in 1988, no one would have batted an eye thinking it was a brand new song.
That's true. Yep.
Yeah.
Poison could have covered it.
Yep. Still could. Still should. I'd like to hear that.
That I want. I'll take royalties on that. So next is Beth. This is such an amazing song. I love this song for many reasons. If you take away the piano and strings, there are just some great chord changes and a beautiful melody at the heart of the song. The sound of Peter's voice with the emotion of the lyrics. I've always loved the gruffness, the rasp of his voice.
Yeah, he's a rock and roller. It gave it legitimacy.
Yeah, he was the oldest guy in the band. He was a huge Gene Krupa jazz guy and loved that doo-wop kind of stuff. And even his solo album, when they did those, he leaned into that. But I've been doing it in my acoustic show for as long as I can remember. And when they reunited and played this on the MTV Kiss Unplugged, my head almost exploded with joy to hear it done as a guitar song. It was their biggest commercial hit and their highest charting single. It won the 1977 People's Choice Award for Best Song. And until very recently, Ace Frehley was under the assumption that it was a Grammy Award that he had sitting in his house for Beth. He was being interviewed and someone said something about, the awards he's won. He's like, well, I have my Grammy. And they're like, you have a People's Choice Award? He's like, no, I have a Grammy. And he asked his girlfriend and she's like, no, it's a People's Choice Award. So still a cool accomplishment.
That's still a cool story too. Dude, Peter Criss has a good voice, man. And it's not polished. It squeaks. It he struggles to hit some of the notes, but that in my mind is what gives it its charm. The chief charm of it comes from the fact that this isn't a lead singer in the band. This is a guy that hardly ever puts the mic in front of his face. He's just the drummer coming up to sing a song. And I just love this song. It's a beautiful song. It's a classic 70s ballad, and it shows off the band's versatility. This is a great song. Not surprised it's their biggest commercial hit.
Yeah.
Oftentimes the ballads are. Ballads stick with you because you got guys and girls buying the album then.
Yep, exactly.
So, yeah, there it is. So we come to my last song on the album, and really the last song on the album. This song is necessary to get the rock band back on track after Beth. Paul is definitely the best singer in the band. I mean, I don't think there's ever been any argument to that. I never heard this song before, and honestly, it's one of my favorites on the whole album. The bridge is killer, and then bam, back at it, man. This song absolutely rocks. The bells at the end, I mean, dude, it's just such a great layer to end it all out. Oh, man, I love this song.
Yeah. Yeah, the bells at the end are really great, those big tubular bells. But word crafting at its finest. You like my 7-inch leather heels. But yeah, I mean, look, it's who they are. That's the thing about Kiss. They are unapologetic.
As they should be.
This is who we are.
Yeah.
And people ate it up. And, I agree with you. This is a great song, great bridge. I love it.
Yeah. Kiss got a lot of flack over the years.
They're about to get more.
Yeah, for being more, like a product than a rock band. And I think, in my mind, it's all the boomers with their 60s and 70s, early 70s music that are given that. They're being gatekeepers. They're being get off my lawn guys, even at the time that the band was coming out. And I believe, again, this was something special for those kids in the 70s, and they gave it to them. They gave them an identity, and, it's special. So,
All right, last up, Rock and Roll Party. Well, since I forced you into reviewing a Smashing Pumpkins song the last time I saw you, I took this one for the team. But even you have to admit, the worst Billy Corgan song is better than whatever this is. Or maybe not.
I don't have that strong a feeling about it. You know what I think the mistake was? The mistake was giving it a name.
Yes.
Just put it on the end of Do You Love Me, and it's fine.
Maybe that's how it was. Remember, I did say to you that some albums, it's not on there, but maybe it's on there as a hidden track and it wasn't given a name.
Or again, not even a hidden track. Just make it part of the ending of Do You Love Me. I think you wouldn't feel as strongly about it either if it didn't have its own name. You're expecting another song, and what you get is whatever this is.
Especially when Rock and Roll All Night at this, up to this point is probably their biggest song and that everyone knows. And you see Rock and Roll Party, you're expecting Rock and Roll All Night Part 2, and you get a bunch of crowd noise.
Yeah, I think that's the reason for the strong feelings about it.
Yes.
Because I didn't feel that bad about it. Now, again, I'm more of a casual fan, but yeah. So you had strong feelings about this.
Oh, I absolutely do, yeah.
I mean, I can tell you right now, there is nothing on this album that comes close to the pain of Pumpkins.
But it's like you said earlier, it's not even a song. It's just there. Not. I almost said to you, can we just not even talk about that?
We don't have, yeah.
But I think we had to. I think it's part of what it is. And I'm not going to get too much into it, but there are, this to me is a concept album. And I've always thought of the main character as a male heading to a Kiss show. Recently, it was posed to me that it could be a female going to the show and her experience after passing away in the car accident. So not to go down the rabbit hole too deep, but they are two very different ways to listen to the album.
Absolutely.
Is our protagonist a male?
Right.
Is our protagonist a female?
Right.
And listen to the songs
with those things in mind.
Yeah, and it really kind of changes the way you think about
what you're hearing and the message it's sending.
Yes.
Interesting. Yeah, that's good. Dude, you know what? When I was growing up, because you were 3 when this album came out, and I was 15 months old, right? So that's not a huge difference. But when I was growing up, my parents listened to folk music and soft rock, and they were considered older parents, as they were almost 30 years old when I was born, which was, back then, that was old to have kids, right? So my exposure to rock music came in a much different way than most of my peers. The first time I had any awareness of Kiss as a band was seeing my older neighbor's bedroom. It's almost exactly the same memory you have. It was covered in Kiss paraphernalia. I mean, floor to ceiling. He had the dolls and the posters, and it felt like every bit of merchandise this band ever had. Some of that might be memory embellishment, but that's what I recall. I also, just like you, remember being scared out of my gourd of them. I'm like 5 years old, and to a child's mind, they look like demons from the underworld, right? I'm sure many parents of the era thought the same. But a couple years later, when I first started really getting into rock music, I found myself listening more to bands like Def Leppard and Motley Crue, because these were the bands that my friends liked. MTV was kind of pushing us in the direction of some of these newer bands. And for us, Kiss was something our older brothers and cousins liked. So it took me years to appreciate them. And admittedly, I never really deep dived them until we did this review. This is actually the first time I ever listened to this album front to back. I knew some of the tunes here, but some I had never heard. And, honestly, the ones I'd never heard were my favorite songs. Now, it might just be recency bias or whatever, but I really enjoyed some of these. So the entire album is like 34 minutes long, and it's filled mostly with songs under 4 minutes. A really stark contrast to their contemporaries in the 70s who, let's be honest, were like 12-minute songs and 8-minute drum solos and stuff like that. So that might have been part of their appeal. But they must have been something to see in this era, man. This band, this album, they're larger than life. I absolutely love them. So let's pick our top 3 songs.
Okay.
Give us your top 3 songs from the album.
King of the Nighttime World, number 1. Detroit Rock City, number 2. And Shout It Out Loud, number 3.
Yeah. You can't go wrong with those songs, man. Yeah. They are all bangers. Just bangers. So my top 3 songs are Flaming Youth, Do You Love Me, and God of Thunder. And it's kind of cool that we didn't pick the same ones. So these are our tunes. These are the ones that we like the best. What are the ones you like the best? Give us your top 3. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you think about Destroyer. Let us know what you think about Kiss as a band. And no matter what happens, R.I.P. to Ace Frehley. What an amazing guitar player, and a good role model for up and coming guitar players. All those generations ago when we were kids back in the olden days.
I don't know about role model, but guitar influence.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. So thanks so much for listening. Don't forget to check out roosterstone.com to hear our music and stuff like that. We got a new video out, Mr. Celebrity. Go check it out. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to Rooster Stone across all social media platforms. And don't forget about peace and one love. Come on over to roosterstone.com, where you can book the band for any event you can imagine. Acoustic, full band, whatever your event may require. You can also email us to take online music lessons at an affordable monthly price. Don't forget to download our original music and like, follow, and subscribe to Rooster Stone across all social media platforms. Keep rocking out at roosterstone.com.